I haven't examined like 7 hours, so we're gonna make this review video really quick. Just as the finale was also very quick and very rushed. Spoiler alert, we're gonna talk about the whole thing, so that's your spoiler warning. My biggest complaint, and this is so depressing by the way, the final showdown between Homelander and Butcher with like the assist of Ryan and Kimiko, who's got Soldier Boy powers now, is super, super easy. Dude, I kid you not, the fight might have been maybe at least like 3 minutes. The fight where they fought like Bomb Sight, that was a more difficult fight. Here, Homelander is slower, and for some reason, his laser beams aren't as strong enough to laser Kimiko in half like he did in the first episode. Because when he lasers her, she's just like, like gets like taken aback, but doesn't like cut her or anything. He is just so weak in this episode. It's really depressing to see that there's just no like difficulty here. He is supposed to be the most powerful soup, and this is probably like the second easiest fight I've seen in this show. Second to when, well, this wasn't really a fight, when Butcher's like slamming Mesmer's head on the toilet sink in the first season. I just didn't like how afraid they were to actually make the characters like, and this is probably like my biggest complaint about the season so far, is that it feels like there is no sense of danger anymore. All the characters of, like the boys in particular, are very safe. Dude, Ashley, who has been kind of leeching around this whole season, just trying, like, she's like on the grips of the edge of, maybe if one tiny slip up, she'll die. Dude, she was completely safe. She survives the finale after assisting the boys. And while she is whispering to her like conscience here, she's like, "Oh, get me out of the situation." She's in the room with Homelander, who for some reason just doesn't bother to like hear her. Well, that was of course because he was getting ready to like broadcast to the whole world saying, "I am your god." But it just feels like his powers are just non-existent in some cases, where you feel like, like Homelander would hear what's going on. Like when he gets the V1, for example, the boys are like in the forest, like in the tree, just like peeking, and like him taking the V1, and he doesn't hear them. Like they're all safe, and it's just so like lame, because I feel like this show has done a good job in establishing the dark tone that no one will be safe from the get-go. After A-Train died, it's to tell you no one is safe anymore. Anything can happen, but this is probably, I think, believe it or not, this is probably like the most happy ever after ending I could anticipate, really. And aside from the final fight here, the Gen V crew, still irrelevant. They are only here just to transport hostages away. Marie doesn't put up any contribution to actually using her powers. So why did we spend 2 seasons of a spin-off leading to that for no payoff for her? And by the way, the spin-off Gen V is canceled now. So it really was a waste of her character, a waste of a show. Just so sad. And another thing is that Edgar, he kind of just like gets back into the whole groove of being in Vought, which it's I find it weird because he was found guilty for the corruption that he was behind, and all of a sudden he gets control again. He is not like it's been an hour since I watched the finale in theaters, but I don't know, like he's fine, and Soldier Boy completely out of the picture. Guy doesn't show up anymore. When Homelander knocks him out, that's the end of what we see of him. He is no longer in the show. So what was the point? I think he was just a walking advertisement for the prequel, Vought Rising. And there's another prequel that's going to come out, The Boys Mexico. Don't know what the hell they're going to do with that, because I think what this finale has also done is set up room to continue the universe. Like, it doesn't feel like it's the end. Aside from, like, the fight and, like, the final fight between Homelander and Butcher, I will say the thing that I liked about it was after. So, Kimiko blasts Homelander's powers away. That also removes Ryan and Butcher's powers away too. But that doesn't really matter because Homelander, his powers were stripped away. and he tries to run away, but he can't, and he breaks down crying, begging Butcher to, you know, let him live, you know, even telling him like, oh, I'll have a shapeshifter be Becca, or I'll suck your nuts for you, you know, I'll give you a wink whenever you need one. But Butcher, you know, spits at him, or not like literally, like, but like insults him, saying like, you are pathetic, you are nothing. And he gets the classic signature crowbar, and he stuffs it in Homelander's brains, and then, you know, yanks the head gum out. I think that was pretty satisfying, but again, with the fight being so underwhelming, the payoff just doesn't feel satisfying enough. Like, it was enough to go like, okay, finally, I guess. Like, it was satisfactory in a way, but it wasn't well deserved in my opinion. The epilogue at the end, like what they do here, I think that was done really well. You know, Kimiko, she moves to France and she gets herself a poodle that she says she's wanted. And he finally gets back when Monique remarries her and, you know, sees her daughter Janine and adopts Ryan, I believe. Starlight, Huey, they have their own like audio tech business thing that like Huey worked in the very first season. He owns that now, and Starlight is pregnant, and Huey wants to name her Robin. I think that what they did with the epilogue was heartwarming. And now let's talk about Butcher. So when Butcher, you know, so Terror dies when he comes back to check up on him because he's an old dog. Butcher has no one left in his life anymore. You know, Ryan doesn't want to start a new life with him because, you know, Butcher is an irredeemable dude. He's done a lot of bad things. It makes sense. And Terror is gone. Becca has been gone. There's just no one he loves that he can be with anymore. At least apart from the boys. But he's had a fallout with them. Like, they don't really care about him anymore as much anymore. But what he does, and this is adapted from the comics in a way-ish, where he goes to Vought Tower and tells Huey, who has been following him, says, I leaked the virus into the tubes, and when I put press the good old button on this gizmo here, the virus will be let out and all Supes will be killed. Huey is against that, so they get into this little brawl, you know, trying to fight for that gizmo, and when, you know, Butcher's about to press it, Huey shoots him and kills Butcher. And that is the end of Butcher's arc. But it seems like they just wanted to have it where Butcher, he has no will to live anymore. He's really depressed. Like, he just doesn't know what to do. So he was like, I'm going to make Huey kill me. Like, I get I get how it's adapted from the comics, but I also do think that betrays Huey's character in a way. Because I think throughout this whole season, and the show really is, Huey is trying to be human and trying to not do horrible things. Like, yeah, in a way, this is kind of self-defense for the Supes, but him just killing Butcher, I thought that was a bit out of character. Like, you know, Huey immediately regrets it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, or maybe I'm being stupid, but again, it's just the show wanted to wrap up everything it could in an hour because the pacing of it has been very horrible. But that's the end of what we see with Butcher, and that's end of the boys, or not the universe. There's gonna be more to it, but that's it. Really, probably like the worst finale I've seen to a show. Like, people are comparing this with Stranger Things. I think that might be an insult to Stranger Things finale. I think that one was done way better than this, even though that was lackluster. This was just horrible. Like, the final fight is like 2 minutes. Before I end this video, I actually wanted to make a separate video on this, but I guess I'll just spit it here right now because this is probably the last I will ever talk about this show. I want to say the fandom here is so annoying and stupid, by the way. There has been a theory going on where Black Noir is the Homelander clone that was, you know, in the comics, Black Noir is, you know, the big twist is that he is a clone of Homelander, keeping him in check, and he has been doing a lot of horrible things disguised as Homelander, and Homelander thought he was just having a psychological blackout, and he did those things, which he didn't. So Homelander wasn't as crazy and evil as he seems. Yada yada yada. That's besides the point. It is a stupid theory because Noir Part 2 has been unmasked in season 4. Like, if you've been watching the show, you see that this isn't Homelander clone. I don't understand. In season 5, even when he is unmasked again, people are still thinking that he is the Homelander clone. Like, what? Dude, I swear, a lot of the fans that complain and talk about the show, I swear, they probably watch the show from shorts and clips. That does not count as you watching the show. That just means you've just been catching up on the highlights or the viral moments of the show, but you don't really know what's going on. That's ending my yap session. No, this video is already too long for just covering the finale, but that's all. That is the end of The Boys. Really disappointing, and that's all I gotta say. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.